That's always the issue when you're in sort of youth politics. There's a sense of, oh, does this person, really believe these things? Do they have the life experience? I certainly like to think I do.
Oh, yeah.
Politics can make for an interesting conversation at the Gannon household. Dad Scott was involved in the union movement, but his son has taken a decidedly different path.
Next thing you know, he's getting involved with the Liberal Party, and I thought, he'll grow out of that.
And Father's on the phone from Perth going, no, go Labor.
Yeah.
The family barbecues. It's funny how everyone sort of teams up on me in one way.
It's good banter at Christmas time.
Yes, yeah.
From the cars to the shops to the bills to housing, where's my cash, does my bleed.
The political staffer is one half of a young Liberal power couple alongside his wife, Sky News commentator Freya Leach, who until recently had her own show on the network.
Socialists are strange. They go to protests, which they film on their iPhones, thanks capitalism. They call for the overthrow of Australia, thanks freedom of speech.
But the two are somewhat of an oddity among their generation, embracing the Liberal Party. Of the 20 federal seats with the highest proportion of voters under 35, the coalition only holds 3. A decade ago, in the same seats, it held 7. At Sydney University, the Conservative Club is figuring out how to bounce back after the crushing result.
We need to make it happen by any means possible. If that means doing some soul-searching, then we've got to do it.
It's peak politics season on campus with the Student Representative Council campaign underway, but the Conservatives aren't running a candidate this year. The club are focused on a bigger battle, how to sell the essence of the Liberal Party to young people.
It's those values of innovation, of embracing technological advancements, starting a business, and if we communicate those ideas well, I think we can bring young people back to our movement. Those ideals are timeless, and those political movements have worked in other places in the world.
730 has obtained a copy of the New South Wales Young Liberals' submission to the federal party over the election loss in May earlier this year. It's a withering assessment of its policies and campaigning style that this says alienated key voting blocks, not just young people, but also women.
If we're not being seen to take the issue of gender representation seriously, then it doesn't look like we're taking the Australian public seriously, and they won't trust us and they won't vote for us.
Georgia Loudon was the last president of the Young Liberals in New South Wales and signed off on the submissions. It calls for a serious conversation on quotas for female candidates, something Georgia opposed in the past.
There's constant lip service to the issue, but nothing is changing. So I think that quotas are kind of necessary, temporary, blunt instrument to really equalise the playing field while we address the underlying cultural and structural barriers.
Charlotte Mortlock runs Hilmer's network to specifically engage women with the Liberal Party.
This very, very vital line in the sand that we can say, yes, we've had a women's issue, we've got it loud and clear. What else can we do aside from quotas that would give that strong enough message to the public that they would actually switch on and listen to us? They will not even consider us and consider our policies until we make those changes.
Once upon a time, the Liberal Party counted on much of Sydney Harbour as its heartland, but it's been unable to win back these seats it lost to Teal independents.
I think we do need to be committed to net zero, and we need, clear, credible policies on climate change. The reality is that, from a purely pragmatic perspective, if we ever want to win government again, we've got to win back city seats, and voters in city seats take the issue of climate change very seriously.
Cooper Gannon took over the New South Wales Young Liberals presidency from Georgia Loudon in August, and he's less interested in these ideas.
The average Aussie family isn't talking about them in their family home. You don't hear conversations around gender quotas in Western Sydney. You don't hear conversations about the merits of net zero in parts of suburban Melbourne. You do hear them in commentariat circles and obviously in the Liberal Party from a policy level.
In metropolitan areas, if you take out baby boomers and elder Australians, our primary drops down to 18%. But I do think that there are probably other young Liberals that their views might be more, align with a lot of the grandparents in Australia.
I fundamentally disagree. That might be the perception from the policy platform, which I would be the first person to tell you our policy platform has not been reflecting our values as of recent. But if you drill into what's at the heart of the Liberal Party, there is a space there for young people who don't want the government to tell them how to live their lives.
I want the young Liberals to be more activist, pushing the dial on key policy issues and saying to the senior party, hey, we actually think you've got the settings wrong on this one, and we're going to call you out for it. Oh, whoa.
Cooper Gannon isn't alone in calling out the party. He's keen to invigorate his fellow young Liberals who he's meeting with in Sydney.
Go for it. So, what's new? What's been happening?
We were seen as fighting culture wars and being too aggressive and not actually providing any substantial policy reforms.
The lack of policy and bold ambition for the future was what let us down ultimately in the election.
Take the elevator up, take the elevator down, take the...
Charlotte Mortlock is determined to keep pushing for a party that can win over women like her and the young people it's lost, bringing back the broad church to sing from the same hymn sheet.
That is the joy of the Liberal Party, is that you all sit together and break bread and have good conversations. As a society, I think we all need to do that and make that really proactive decision and deliberate decision to do that.